So I received a message from, I guess I could call her a friend of mine, that asked me if I always had to make these videos while I was driving, and could they not wait until I get home, and that it's dangerous and be safe. Well, first off to say to that is I appreciate your concern. Second thing I'm going to say to that is, yeah, I could make them at home, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make them on the road, and here's why. The trip from work to home is about 45 minutes, give or take. That's a lot of time. The radio plays shitty music, not a whole lot of music on my phone. So I take up that time by making a video, just kind of like a thought of the day. Not only that, but this is generally what it looks like. See that? Not a big deal, okay? I can literally drive with my knee, and I can hold this phone, and I can pay attention to the road, and I can switch lanes, and I can hit my blinker, and I can look at my mirrors, and I can do all that shit all at once. It's not fucking hard. Okay, I've had a cell phone before I've been able to drive. So I guess I'm going to get into using a phone while driving, and I've touched on this in a previous video called Freedoms of Each, but I'll direct this one specifically towards the use of an electronic device while driving. See, the fundamental point that people are getting at when they tell you that you shouldn't use your phone and drive, or text and drive, or call and drive, or whatever the fuck else they want to talk about, is that it's causing a distraction from driving. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm holding my phone on the steering wheel, driving with my knee, and looking at the road. Every now and then I'll glance down at it, just like you glance at mirrors. Or I'm looking at a Whataburger. So right now, that is more dangerous right now than me making this video. You know, or look, there's a Porsche. Not really. But if there was a Porsche, look, I'm looking at that Porsche. How wonderful. You know, if there's a wreck on the side of the road. Oh, look at that wreck. Isn't that far more dangerous? Because it's taking away more attention to driving. Now, again, I've had a cell phone since before I've been able to drive. To be honest with you, I've used my cell phone probably roughly 70% of each time I drive. So each time I drive, there's about a 7 to 10 chance that I'm going to use my cell phone on that trip. Okay? Whether it's for GPS, which is way more distracting than making this video. Considering I have to look at the map, I gotta zoom in, zoom out, find my location, fucking search for whatever it is I'm searching for, constantly look at it. So really GPS units, all in all, because even if it was mounted on the dash, you still got to do the same thing, is far more dangerous, more distracting than making a video. Not only that, but texting is also a bit more attention grabbing because you have to look and text. But it's really not even that bad, is it? Because how many times have you heard of a fatal car wreck, or even a car wreck at all, because someone was texting or using their phone? I mean, it's not very many times. It's certainly, I don't think, more times than you would hear about the average story of a girl with her, you know, the pencil in her eye doing her makeup, you know, or someone looking on the bottom for a CD, or, you know, playing with the radio station, you know, or whatever else may have you. There's plenty of gadgets in a vehicle that are going to distract you from driving, and there's plenty of things outside the vehicle that will distract you from, I guess, paying attention to what's right in front of you. See, there's a lot of things about driving that you could take into account here. If you're a decent driver, then you're capable of assuming what other drivers are doing, such as, I'll demonstrate this right now. Coming up on a Ford, I'm pretty sure you're going to the right. But these two cars ahead of me, I'm pretty sure I can go on the left of this truck, and I'm almost absolutely certain that he's not going to move, nor the car in front of him. See, it's simply not that hard, you know, and every now and then you may get surprised, but it's really nothing that you have to pay that much attention to. Everybody acts like when you're driving, you shouldn't be doing anything else. You shouldn't be doing nothing. But we all know that's very hypocritical, because we all know that we love to do stuff while we're driving. Why? Because driving's fucking boring. Now, if they'll increase the speed limit and, you know, I can weave in and out of cars legally and so on and so forth, I may put down the cell phone. But since I gotta cruise, you know, at 60, 70 miles an hour and go in a straight line with everybody else, I don't find it that difficult. We also like to eat while we drive, which takes away your hands and your eyeballs and so on and so forth. And, you know, when someone calls you, you gotta look for your phone and pick it up and do all that other stuff. So really, it's not that dangerous. And it's actually kind of normal, you know, to us now. I mean, is it not? I mean, we can easily multitask and drive. There are some terrible drivers. I'll give you that. There are some people that can't multitask. I'll give you that too. And not to be conceited, but I'm not one of those people. I mean, I'm just not. I've grown up with using cell phones and driving and having distractions and having friends. You know, it's probably more dangerous to have your baby in the car than it is to have a cell phone. Because if the baby cries, you got to pay it attention and figure out what's going on and so on and so forth. My brother always said, the worst person to be behind is an out-of-state, handicapped minivan. And why is that? Because they're out of state, they probably don't know where the fuck they're going. If they're handicapped, they may have some type of physical disability, you know, making them incapable of performing the way, I guess, you would ideally. And if they have a minivan, there's a good chance they have children in there, so you're constantly fucking with them all the time. So really, this whole texting and driving thing isn't that big of an issue. It's just not, and I think people put way too much focus on using a cell phone and driving when it's just as distracting or less distracting than other things. You know, I mean, you see a car wreck on the side of the road and everybody slows down to look at it, you know, and that potentially could cause more car wrecks than simply using a cell phone. Or what about if there's a police officer on the road? You know, or, you know, when they're shooting radar, you know, everybody starts paying attention to that and hitting their brakes and shit like that, and, you know, somebody could catch you off guard. I would find that more of a dangerous situation than somebody cruising, still paying attention. You know, and this kind of flows over to the whole drinking and driving thing. You know, I'm sure everybody that's going to watch this video can vouch for themselves that they're capable of drinking a beer and still being able to drive. I mean, it's just possible. Everybody's tolerances are different, I understand, but for the most part, one beer isn't going to do much, nor is two. Now, if you get past that, depending on who you are and your weight, and so on and so forth, it becomes kind of a random outcome, or a different outcome. It's a different variable there. But you can still literally drink and drive. Like, if you pick up a six-pack and you live, you know, 5 minutes away, what's really wrong with cracking open that beer? And you can also be high on marijuana and drive. There's been plenty of scientific tests proving that it's relatively safe, and really the only thing that alters is your following distance to the vehicle in front of you, which that, I guess, technically means you're being safer, as long as you're not going too slow, because it's also known that slower drivers cause more accidents than faster drivers. However, faster driving accidents have higher fatalities for the obvious reasons. But there's many variables here, and unfortunately, being on the cell phone isn't one of them. At least not making a video, because I'm not having to interact with my phone right now. I hit a button, I run my mouth, I watch the road, I glare back at this every now and then, make sure I'm still beautiful, which I am, and you know, I do it for roughly 10 minutes, and I'm already at 9 minutes. So there you are. Texting and driving is not that big of an issue. Obviously, I still have no issues, and I'll show you. It's still nothing, and I'm still driving with my knee. So, sorry, I'm just capable of doing it rather well, and I have no intention of stopping it. And when I get home, I don't feel like making videos, and this wastes a lot of my time driving back home. So I appreciate it. I hope this explains to you why this really doesn't concern me, but I do appreciate your concern. I genuinely do. Thank you.